reading. Um, One of the things that I'm sensing for a lot of you is I feel like moderation in all that you do this month is going to be of the utmost importance. Okay. What I mean by that is, not skimping out on sleep, not overeating, not over drinking, and where you might end up feeling very sluggish, keeping your energy level very high and being mindful of what you put into your body. And I know that's, practical advice for everybody at any point in their lives, but I feel that in terms of moderation, being patient is also about moderation, not jumping the gun, and taking some time off to really think something through, even though it's something that you've always wanted, always dreamed of, and finally it lands on your doorstep. You want to take a step back and realistically assess how it is going to figure or change or transform the rest of your life before you take up on the offer. Not that the offer is not good, it's just some long-term planning and at least some type of self-restraint is going to be very mandatory for you coming through for this month. Okay, so that's like the initial message that I was getting. And I also feel as if a lot of you are going through a phase where you don't really feel like socializing. Not that you're isolating yourself or anything like that. I do feel there's still people around you, but I do sense that you might be thinking about, how is this socializing going to add value to my life? What can I do differently so that I have more meaningful conversations? And who is it that makes me feel comfortable where I can share a part of myself? So I feel like a lot of you might feel a little bit overwhelmed by emotions this month. And as a result of it, it would be in your best interest to try and maintain that self-restraint and maintain that sense of distance between taking some time off and really think about how something is going to add to your life or how something is going to be brought into the fold, is going to be required of you. Okay, so let's see. And I'm going to pull out your advice cards. And this is a non-traditional deck, so I'm not going to be reading reversals. I feel almost like there's contact, and it's sort of like some major communication breakthrough happening. So let me just straighten up the cards and then we'll go into the reading. Okay, so first of all, some heavy hitters here. We've got a lot of, a few major arcana. We've got a lot of major arcana. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 so far. 4, 5 with the Lover's card. Okay, so we have the Death card linked up with the Tower. Now, the Death card is, this is basically some type of ideological shift happening within your life, okay? These are major arcana cards, and they deal with, some innate changes that needs to happen in your life. And these are things that you've had inkling about. These are things that is no longer serving you, so you're letting it go. For a lot of you, with the Tower card, the Tower indicates some type of structural changes. This can be if there is something in your life that is not good for you, such as unhealthy habits, unhealthy ways of doing, procrastinating, waiting until the very, very last minute in order to get, sort things out. These are behaviors and habits and ways of doing that you are leaving behind once and for all. And when it is left behind, you're going to realize that they were holding you back from fully enjoying your life, and they were hindering I feel like they were blocking a lot of blessings from coming into your life. So, such as, procrastination, such as rushing head first and not doing things in moderation. So, these are like life choices or ways of doing that we basically grew up with, and we fix up your home, or how you can, finally get around to fixing up some trouble spots, either in your home environment, in your physical dwelling, in your family relationships. I feel some type of fix up is in order. It might be as well tax season, so there might be, more financial abundance coming through that will allow you to do this. Just make sure you live within your means. Doing things in moderation is going to be very vital for you, okay? So both of these cards together indicate to me some type of ideological shift happening in your life that is going to declutter things that are no longer working for you, to allow you to move ahead, travel light, and invite the better things to come through. And it's going to be very, very positive, because the next card we have is the new beginning. So all of these things are left behind. And I feel like for a lot of you, with the tower indicates a significant relationship as well. So I feel like, because there are two people depicted, if you have had a significant relationship and you were living together at one point, because the tower, once again, it's a home environment, two people involved. So I feel like it was something that was built up, but it was built up on faulty foundation, and you're realizing that it can no longer work, okay? And it's also like, if you have a roommate situation, or if you were in in an environment where you weren't living with somebody, but you don't really consider them your family. They might have been roommates, they might have been someone you were romantically involved with. That is something that has happened, where there might have been a falling out, and you're leaving this situation behind. You're going in there, physically moving your things and moving out. So I feel for a lot of you, this is something that is coming through as well, in terms of movement forward and not looking back, traveling light, and letting go of old ways of doing that were holding you back and blocking your own path forward, okay? I feel like just these two cards alone indicate to me lifestyle choices, decisions that we're making, okay? I don't feel like they're imposed from the outside. It's just things that you have to leave behind, and you're gladly doing it as well. So the next two cards we have here is the Judgment card, as well as the Queen of Cups. I'm going to read this as you, because we have another water sign that's coming through, and I'm going to talk about the water sign as a person or as an energy later. But there is a new start happening in your life. And I do feel with the Judgment card here, the Judgment card is basically, you're given a second chance, or you're giving a clean slate. You're giving like the blank card, the blank page, to basically rewrite, redefine, and re-examine, and to recreate the life that you want on the heels of this Tower card. So you're getting the clean slate, and you're getting a do-over. So the Judgment card indicates contact as well. This can be hearing back from a person, or it can be a situation where there is some type of reunion that is going to bring you a lot of emotional happiness. There is something happening here where the new beginning is going to exceed your expectation. It's going to bring a lot of emotional stability. And I feel like for a lot of you, this is something that you desperately need, because there was a lot of upheaval I feel happening in the past, and you felt like everything you believed in, you felt like the things that you thought, growing up as children, we believe certain things, and it's based on our environment. It's also based on childhood conditioning, things that we were taught. And we take for granted that those things will always be around. But I do feel that in the process of letting go, we're starting to realize that, new beginnings are good, new beginnings are exciting, and I have a blank page, and I can create the life that I want for myself. So I feel like moving forward, this is a very brand new beginning for you. And I feel that because it deals with the Judgment card is mainly about It's a major arcana. So I feel something has been broken down and something is being rebuilt, or at least there's some type of renewal happening here. So for a lot of you, it's a healing process, and for a lot of you, it can be healing from childhood conditioning, healing from unhealthy, I would say, like unhealthy types of conditioning, thoughts, mental processes that we've been brought up to believe. Okay, so this is definitely a very, very positive change of turn of events happening for you. In terms of your financial situation, we have the Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords with the Five of Pentacles, it deals with feeling a sense of isolation. All right. So a lot of you might be in a situation where when it comes to the work environment, when it comes to, I feel like your financial situation is relatively stable, but I do sense that you're not getting the emotional fulfillment that you're hoping from your job. All right. I also feel as if this is a very heavy month when it comes to relationships, love relationships, family relationships as well, where you might not be emotionally invested on the work front. Be very, very careful when it comes to communication. Either people, like if you're working with clients, if you're working with, in close proximity with a boss, somebody who might try to micromanage you, just be very, very careful about communication. And at least if you're upset, angry, take a step back, take a breather, and don't try to solve any problems when you're upset. It's not going to lead anywhere. So I feel like on the work front, on the financial front, there might be some type of separation as well. So if you have like I feel like if you have somebody that you're very, very close to, like a coworker, a boss, they might be going on vacation, they might be leaving that work environment. So you feel a little bit like isolated from the rest of the people that you're working with. When it comes to your finances in general, like I said earlier, don't just do things in moderation, okay? Try to curb your spending as well. I don't feel any financial like worries that you need to um, try to mitigate, but I do sense that there is an air of extravagance, possibly emotional spending, when you're feeling sad, when you feel disappointed, or when you feel like things are not going exactly the way you want, or when you feel frustrated as well. You might be going off and, blowing through your money and to make yourself feel better. Emotional spending is just something to keep an eye out for, but it's also something that you might be prone to. It's also Mercury in retrograde, even like the tiniest stick of gum. And I feel as well, this is something you want to be mindful about on the work front. Um, Keep important documents and things like that, know where they are. If they're confidential information, you want to keep them hidden. Okay, you want to keep them hidden so that information doesn't leak out, is what I'm sensing. I'm sensing leakage with this card. And I feel like there might be some key vital information that might hurt somebody's career prospects and things like that. Be very, very careful about holding secrets in on the work environment. It is something that you should do anyways, but just, be extra vigilant when it comes to um, sharing information that might be confidential. And likewise, don't put yourself in a situation where you might be gossiped about, okay? So be very careful about not getting involved in gossip or not doing things, acting above board so that other people are not gossiping about you. Dating on the work front is not going to be good for you. We have the Lovers card as well as the Five of Pentacles, which is more about work and finances, how we earn our money. So, and you have two people basically cast out in the cold, as well as some type of a heartache situation. So don't mix business with pleasure. For this month is not looking too great if it is somebody you're interested in the work environment. So I'm just going to leave it at that, and we're going to do your love reading in a little bit. The other thing I'm sensing here is we have a water sign coming through for you. I believe this guy showed up last month, but I'm going to read him as a he or a she because the cards are not, these general readings, the genders are not specific, okay? So, first of all, in terms of emotional support, there is going to be somebody coming through in terms of love, relationships, and, romantic partners and prospects. So, you have this person, possibly the same person for you guys, that came through in Scorpio. I feel like there's going to be contact. If it hasn't already happened last month, there is going to be some type of contact, some type of a reunion happening with this person. I feel there is an element of risk involved because we have the Tower and the Five of Pentacles. There's an element of risk. So if it's somebody in your work environment, just be very, very careful. What I'm sensing with this person is, I mentioned the same thing last month, which is that this is a very strategic person. You can tell he or she is more of an observer, a thinker, a person who feels rather than an action-oriented person. Okay, this is somebody that waits around for the right opportunity. They might be slow to act, but they're very, very strategic. Once they want to also connect to you on an emotional level. And it is very difficult for you to do that with this person. And I don't know why. It might be because, they're so guarded when it comes to their feelings. They want you to express yourself first. But I feel like you want them to open up as well. So we have a little bit of an impasse here. Now, I'm going to say that I feel for a lot of you, you're in a situation where you have built up your life a certain way. You love and enjoy your independence. And this is the Empress card, by the way. And she's just really beautiful. I love the way the people are depicted. So both of these people, they have their own kingdoms. They have their own empires. They have basically a lot of financial stability. They both know they have a lot to offer other people, whoever it is they allow into their lives. They both are serious. This is not somebody that can mess around, or this is somebody who is looking for the one. And I feel like for a lot of you Aquarius as well, you're dealing with a water sign who is not very, who's a little bit close-lipped, who is trying to assess a situation with you, or they're trying to figure out what they want to do. For a lot of you, you might be dealing with a water sign who might be married, because the Empress usually indicates like a maternal figure within the tarot, okay? You might be dealing with a water sign, and if this is a romantic interest, this is somebody who is very, very attractive. They likewise are very attracted to you. And I feel there is a power play at work between these two people. Because if we're looking at the archetype, this is a man who feels a little bit emasculated by the person he's trying to pursue, because the Empress, her role trumps all the kings. So emperors, they control all the kingdoms. And I feel like there is a little bit of a power play, a strange power dynamic between you and the other person. And it doesn't matter which gender you are. I feel some type of weird, like, power play where no one's really budging because they want to know what the other person is thinking and feeling, and the other person likewise wants to know what you're thinking and feeling. I do sense, though, for a lot of you, if you're involved with this person romantically, they might have somebody else on the side. They might have, I feel almost like they might have a house with the other person that they're romantically linked with. I feel like there's some property, there's some type of power struggle between their situation, and they're trying to extract themselves. I feel like there is a very, very strong physical attraction with this water sign. It's coming in very strongly with both of these cards, because this is like the ultimate, like the ultimate relationship partner that you want, somebody who's very emotionally nurturing. And then likewise with the Empress, this is the ultimate partner that you want, somebody who's like very attractive, very beautiful, very caring, nurturing, knows how to take care of him or herself, and is just giving. Okay, so I definitely feel there is some power dynamics, power imbalances as well, and I definitely feel like it's almost seems to me like very they live in like different time zones, different kingdoms. Like they have very different upbringing. So working together as a unit is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but the attraction is very great. So in terms of your advice cards, the first thing that we have here is the Three of Cups, the Prince of Swords, this is you, and the Prince of Swords is the Knight of Swords. And as you remember from the Rider-Waite, the Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in the deck. And it's basically telling you moderation and don't rush, okay? You have that initial message that came out. It's being reiterated in the cards, so that is something I want you to really, really take away with you. If you're watching this and you don't even, you forget everything else, just the takeaway message is do not rush, okay? This can be physically driving around, not rushing in your vehicle. This can be making sure you lock your home when you're leaving, making sure that if you're leaving and you're leaving the keys behind with another person, making sure that you really, really trust them. And just don't rush and cut corners, because I feel like something might come up to make you regret cutting corners. So just be careful about that, okay, Aquarius? Once again, the Prince of Swords is somebody who is very logical, who is very cerebral. And I definitely feel like for a lot of you who are in romantically linked up with somehow, with this water sign, they are perceiving you as somebody who's very rational. And it's hard for them to understand what makes you tick. It's hard for them to understand you, where you're coming from overall. So I feel like taking some time off, I feel like if you're starting out on a new relationship specifically, taking some time off and spending alone time, spending quality time, slowing down, enjoying the sunshine, and having a cup of coffee or something like that with another person to really have a conversation is going to be very important for you. So slow down a little bit, okay? I feel like a lot of the time life happens and we're just like swept along with it, but this is the month for you to really slow down. Once you slow down, you're going to realize that, okay, I'm not constantly frazzled. I can think clearer. My mental processes are a lot more balanced, as well as feeling as if you're in control of your life. So when life accelerates, it doesn't mean that you should accelerate just to keep up, because that's not how things work. When you feel like things are starting to like spin out of control, it's really time to slow down and go inwards. Okay, so that's just general life advice, but I feel especially for this month, a lot is happening around you. A lot of emotions are pulling you in all kinds of directions. So I feel like it would be really in your best interest, slow down and observe and see what the best options are. You have many, many options here for you. So the first thing is the way the cards are laid out. It seems to me there is going to be some type of there's cause for, so I feel like you're rushing to one event after another. So be careful about choosing, limiting your time, spending time with people, like choosing quality over quantity. That is something that you're going to have to do. And I feel that there might be a lot of communication coming through with the Judgment card, where you're trying to figure out, fact from fiction. You're trying to figure out who it is that's worth it. I feel there's opportunities to socialize. I feel like there's opportunities to meet new people, to mingle, to network as well. And it's really important for you to maintain the quality of the interaction rather than going after the quantity. Okay, so that's the first message I'm getting here. And once again, that note about gossip, workplace gossip, once again is coming through. Be careful about your conduct in the work environment. This is not a month for you to feel invincible because we have some major arcana cards coming through. We also have the Tower, so be very, very careful about how you are being perceived on the work front, because I feel like karmic actions coming back in, possibly on the work environment. So just keep that in mind, okay? The last card we have here in terms of your advice is we have the Lovers card, and the Lovers card indicates passion, things being reignited with another person. In the literal sense, it can definitely mean new love relationships and feeling, revitalized and re-energized because there is somebody significant in your life. I definitely feel for a lot of you, it might be a water sign. We have the Queen of Cups as well as the King of Cups coming through. And so there's a very strong water sign coming through for you. So Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And the Lovers is also about major, major choices. And this is a choice that is not easy to make. Okay, it's a choice between rationality and between your head and your heart. So as an air sign, you're automatically going to go for things that are stable and true and that make sense to your head. And I feel like this is the month for you to let that type of mentality behind and follow your heart and pursue your heart. That also means, okay, so because you're an air sign and you're like this, and you're rushing in and you're doing things too fast, it means that you don't have a moment of peace to really listen to that inner voice, your inner guidance, your spirit guides, trying to guide you and steer you in the right direction. So taking some time off and asking yourself, what is it that my heart really wants? I feel like that's going to lead you in the right direction, okay? Because what I feel is you're heading in this direction where there are many, many options, where there might be potentially gossip on the work front. There might be gossip in your environment. And the other choice that is safe and stable for you is a very emotionally nurturing person, somebody that has a lot of life experience, possibly somebody with children as well, because we have the Empress, which is the mother card. So possibly somebody with their own children. So I feel like this is the direction that you're supposed to head into. But a lot of the times you have to really quiet your environment. You have to, remain very, very calm and still in order to hear what your heart is trying to tell you, and to think about what it is that your heart really wants, okay? I feel there is some temptation on the work environment, possibly mixing business with pleasure. So something to be careful about, okay? So let's do your love reading and let's see if this water sign pops back up like they did last month. Okay, so I'm going to be using this deck for the love reading. Once again, it is going to be, it's non-traditional, so no reverse. Okay, looks like you have some options, Aquarius. Okay. Okay, so first of all, the center of the spread is the hangman. And the hangman is basically looking at a situation from a different perspective and making a sacrifice as well. This is also making a sacrifice so that you can reach a place of greater awareness, and you can reach a place of looking at a situation almost like with a bird's eye view. Sometimes a little bit of objectivity, looking outside of ourselves and really reassessing the situation is going to be required of you. This is a card about non-action, like not making a choice and trying to adjust to a situation. Okay, so this is not a, I guess, it's not an action-oriented card. It's more of a reaction type of card. The cards surrounding it here, we have the World and the Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands indicates to me that for a lot of you, you've been carrying a torch for somebody for quite some time, and it seems to me as if you've been waiting around for somebody. And this is pretty much the end of the line. This is pretty much the month that is going to make or break this relationship. It is the month that's going to let you know if the relationship will come together or if you need to let the situation go once and for all. I feel for a lot of you, you're carrying a torch for someone. You've been keeping something like feelings, emotions, like really bottled up and pent up, and you've been waiting, and you've gotten so used to the whole waiting that you don't realize how much you're putting your life on hold in order to achieve or to have something with this person. So this is pretty much the end of the line. You're going to know by this end of this month if it's going to come through. If it is that water sign, somebody who's very emotionally nurturing, somebody that you feel would be, the right person for you, and there's that very, very strong physical attraction, look at the situation realistically and ask yourself if it's just the physical attraction that you're craving, or if that person is truly the right one, or if feelings are being reciprocated. Okay, so it's just something to think about. On the other hand, we have the World card, and the World card is basically, for some reason, I feel you have a lot of suitors for this month, Aquarius. A lot of people are looking at you, and the World is a very, very attractive person. This is somebody who's very accomplished. This is like life coming full circle. You are expanding your social base, your social networks. You are expanding in the types of people that you are going to be attracting. And I feel it's almost like waiting for the right person, waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting for Mr. or Mrs. Right, okay? The World is basically going to bring as well people who are very well traveled, people who might speak different languages. I also feel people that might reside in an area like in the tropics. They might reside in the southern hemisphere. They might reside somewhere where, it's the climate is warmer. So if you're in the continental US, they might be foreigners outside the country. So I feel like for those of you who are single and dating, you have somebody that you really, really like in your physical environment. If you're dating other people, I feel like you still have that, but you're dating people that are very different from you, outside of your usual type. Somebody who might be, I feel like age difference. I feel like age difference. And I feel almost like there's somebody in your environment, they're waiting for you to come and find them. I feel like they might have made the first move and they're waiting for you to reciprocate. That's what I'm sensing. And it could be the water sign, the Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. They've made the first move. They're waiting for contact and they're waiting for you to reciprocate. I feel there's temptation, there's fear associated with that. So they might be in a relationship and that's something you kind of suspected. So you're not really, too anxious about jumping in head first. And I do feel that it's going to be very good. It's a good relationship, is what I'm sensing. The sun usually indicates a lot of success, a lot of childlike, carefree energy. There might be children interfering in the relationship. So somebody might have children where there's obligation to the children, or there's like, custody issues, or there might be dealing with, exes and things like that. So for example, if you're dating like women, it might be the father of their children, somebody, their ex-husband, for example. But I feel like there's an element of children involved, so somebody might have children here. I do sense that you have developed very, very strong feelings, and So this is what it's telling me. So you have two choices to make. I don't feel it's with two people. For those of you who are out and dating, with Aquarius especially, I feel like there's always one top choice. I feel like it would be hard for an Aquarius to love two people equally. I don't sense that with a lot of Aquarius. It's, one person or nothing at all. So I don't feel like you're deciding between two people, although that could be if you're dating multiple people, but I feel like there's one person that has captured your heart, you've been longing for, and you haven't been able to let them go. And because of that, you're trying to decide what to do. You're trying to decide if you should get involved, because I feel there is an element of risk. I also feel like you're afraid to take the first step here. So what I feel like you're really deciding between is these two options. Do I want to stay single, play the field, come and go as I want, travel whenever I damn please? Or do I want the obligations, the responsibilities associated with having a relationship? So I feel like that's what you're really deciding between. It's not two people. It's mainly, the carefree, unencumbered lifestyle or the obligation, the burden associated with the lifestyle. And if you're in a relationship, if you're like in a relationship and the relationship is if you're serious about a person, there might be talks about taking the relationship to the next level, and you're scared. I feel like you're scared. There might be talks about having children, about building a family, about traveling together. And once again, I feel like there's this scared energy. Do I want to, put my career on hold to have children? Or do I want to like take some time off, take a sabbatical in order to travel? So there are some reassessment you're doing, but I definitely feel the relationship is being taken to the next level. So there's that whole balancing act of mine versus yours. How can we work together as a unit? Because you're fiercely independent. You're very independent, rebellious, not in a negative way, but I do feel that. When you are in a situation where you feel scared or where you feel like anxious, ask yourself what's causing the anxiousness. Is it something that is, some type of childhood conditioning? So, for example, if you have abandonment issues, and you're in a really good relationship, it's a very healthy relationship, and you trust your partner completely, and all of a sudden they say, let's move in together, and then that anxiety panic attack starts settling in. Ask yourself where it's stemming from, because if you have abandonment issues where you've dealt with feeling unwanted, unloved, and abandoned, you're going to fear major commitments, because it triggers the trauma from abandonment issues. So getting to the bottom of it and not letting it affect your relationship, I feel like it's almost like staring or facing your fears, dealing with it head on so that you can drop that baggage and move forward with your relationship. Because I feel like with a lot of Aquarius, things would be, just phenomenal with your significant other or your relationship partner. But as soon as they want to take things to the next level, you start getting cold feet. And just the thought of it makes you get cold feet. I mean, I feel like for a lot of you, you might do it anyways, but just the initial thought of it makes you scared. So that's something that I feel, if you're dealing with it, I do sense that it might be from some type of childhood issues, okay, that you might need to confront. But more than anything, getting to know ourselves, asking ourselves, why do I feel this certain way, and what am I really, long term, like where do I see this relationship going? That's going to be important for you. And it's going to help you at least have a game plan and figure things out the next few steps, and be ahead of the game. That way the anxiety doesn't seem so overwhelming. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, and I hope that's good advice overall. But what I feel as well is there might be as well some type of if you're taking the relationship to the next level, I feel almost as if that whole, freedom versus intimacy situation is coming through. There might be some body image issues with some of you Aquarius, especially the women. I feel like there might be some body image issues coming through that might be affecting your relationships. So you want to be very, very mindful about, finding ways to get over that. And I know that it's a lot more difficult than it's difficult. I understand that, but solve these issues from a place where you feel empowered rather than letting them overpower you. Okay, so for example, join a gym, do more physical activities, take a swimming class where everyone has to wear a bathing suit so that uh, you feel desensitized, so that you're not so that you feel more comfortable in the future. So things like that, facing your fears head on, I feel is going to be something that is required. So if there are just body image issues, you might want to, find ways where you are in a public eye, where you are exposed. And I know that sounds like difficult and it sounds scary, but I do sense facing your fears head on and not, sit on the sidelines of life, nibbling away and letting life pass you by is going to be really important for you. So the hangman, once again, indicates reaction to things. And it's basically letting things play out before you forge ahead, before you, dash in. So I feel like, for example, for those of you who are linked up with somebody who might be in a relationship, you want to make sure you have all the information. You want to figure out the details, okay? But overall, the love life situation, for those who are single, it is looking very good. There might as well be a fire sign in your midst. We do have the Sun card here. You are also, for those of you dating, you are going to encounter people who are very, very different. Ethnically, culturally, they might be from a different geographical location. They are also bringing with them a different perspective. So you are going to look at situations. I feel like they're going to provide a lot of impetus for you to expand your self geographically, or even, just expanding your consciousness, expanding yourself philosophically. For those who are in stable relationships, I definitely feel there might be a lot of work on your hand and your partner might feel neglected. Okay, so taking some time off away from that to really invest yourself and be alone with your partner. I feel like people are kind of off doing their own thing. You and your partner might not have the time. It might be difficult to coordinate. So it's hard to find the balancing act, okay? But I definitely see some situation being taken to the next level, either dating each other exclusively or, moving in together, or, proposal, having children. Some important milestone is being breached, and I feel like a lot of you are very scared. So your partner might be just wondering why you are acting emotionally distant, more distant than you normally are. So that's something that you need to, if you need the time apart, withdraw, but then come back and at least explain to them that you do need the time to process these feelings, these fears, or whatever it is that's coming up, all right? So Aquarius, it's going to be a very, very good month romantically, but I feel overall slow down a bit, okay? Especially when it comes to driving, traveling, and things like that. I do wish you the reading. Please visit my website. It is in the description box below. I believe I am booked out until the first week of May.